What happens when someone dares to challenge centuries of religious authority? When they stand against deeply ingrained beliefs, questioning the very foundations of faith. Today, we unravel the story of a fearless secular humanist who defied Christianity's dominance, exposing the cracks in its doctrines and paying the ultimate price for standing up for reason, science, and human rights. For centuries, Christianity has wielded immense power over societies, dictating laws, shaping morality, and controlling knowledge. From the medieval church's iron grip on science to the persecution of those who dare to think differently, history is filled with stories of suppression. One such story is that of a secular humanist who refused to bow down. Many philosophers, scientists, and free thinkers have clashed with religious institutions throughout history. Figures like Giordano Bruno, who was burned at the stake for suggesting that the universe was infinite, and Hypatia, a brilliant mathematician murdered by a Christian mob, serve as grim reminders of the dangers of challenging religious authority. Christianity's grip on society wasn't just about faith, it was about power. The church dictated morality, controlled education, and even influenced kings, architects, and governments. Those who questioned it weren't just seen as skeptics, they were enemies of the faith, threats to the established order. The birth of a rebel. Imagine growing up in a world where questioning the Bible is considered heresy, where your every doubt is met with condemnation, and your curiosity is stifled by fear. Our protagonist was born into such an environment, a deeply religious household where faith was absolute, and skepticism was a dangerous road. But as they grew, questions began to rise. Why does an all-loving God allow suffering? Why does science contradict biblical claims? And most importantly, why should morality be dictated by ancient scriptures instead of human reason and compassion? These questions, once whispered in private, became a burning desire for truth. And when they finally spoke out, the consequences were swift and brutal. From a young age, they noticed the contradictions. They saw how religious leaders preached kindness, yet condemned those who thought differently. They witnessed the hypocrisy of moral judgments, where the church dictated what was right and wrong based on scripture, often ignoring human empathy and understanding. And then they made a choice that would define the rest of their life. They decided to break free. The clash with faith. Our humanists began advocating for reason, evidence-based beliefs, and secular ethics. They challenged religious dogma in public debates, exposing the inconsistencies within Christianity, from the contradictions in the Bible to the dark history of religious institutions. But the response was fierce. Religious leaders labeled them a heretic. Family and friends distanced themselves. Threats followed, but they refused to be silenced. They started writing books, delivering speeches, and engaging in public discourse. They debunked myths, highlighted logical fallacies, and educated people on the importance of skepticism. They gained a following, people who had felt trapped by religion but had never dared to voice their doubts. But with recognition came even more opposition. Online hate campaigns, death threats, and public smear tactics became routine. Yet they persisted, knowing that truth and progress are worth any struggle. The fight for secularism, determined to make a difference, they took their fight beyond personal struggles. They became an activist, promoting secular education, freedom from religious influence in government, and human rights unshackled from outdated religious morality. They fought for the separation of church and state, exposing how religious influence was still dictating policies, from LGBTQ+ rights to women's reproductive freedoms. And they didn't just criticize, they offered a new vision, a world guided by logic, empathy, and evidence instead of fear and superstition. They worked with organizations dedicated to protecting secular values, pushing for legislation that removed religious favoritism from public policy. They supported efforts to ensure science-based education, fought against blasphemy laws, and advocated for freedom of thought and expression. The backlash and sacrifices, no fight against dogma, comes without a cost. This secular humanist faced relentless opposition. Their name was smeared. They were accused of spreading immorality, and in some cases, they were even threatened with death. And yet they persisted. Because history has shown that progress is never easy. From Galileo, who was forced to recant scientific truths, to those who fought against the church's control over society, the battle for free thought has always come at a price. But the impact they made? Unquestionable. More people began questioning, more minds opened up, and the fear-based grip of religious dogma weakened one debate, one speech, one idea at a time. Their activism led to a movement. They weren't just one voice anymore, they had started a fire. A wave of freethinkers who refused to be silenced by religious institutions. The legacy of a secular humanist. Their journey was not just about rejecting Christianity, it was about embracing something greater. A world where morality is based on human well-being, not ancient commandments. A society where people are free to think, to question, and to define their own purpose without fear of eternal damnation. Their story is a reminder that no authority, religious or otherwise, should go unchallenged, and that the path to truth, though difficult, is worth every struggle. Their legacy lives on in the minds of those they've inspired. Their books are read, their speeches watched, and their message continues to challenge the boundaries of faith and reason. What do you think? Should religious beliefs dictate society? Or is it time to move beyond faith and embrace reason? Let's discuss in the comments below. And if you believe in the power of questioning, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video to spread the message. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and never stop thinking for yourself.